What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Kaiju number 8, season 2. This is episode 5. I think it's 5. With me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Well, the how can I say this? It's like this. The episode really took a turn for the worst for pretty much of the the Kaiju Defense Force, because it turns out that the two number nines that Kafka and the others have been fighting were both decoys, and the real actual number nine was really targeting Shinomiya's father, who's if we remember, he's in possession of one of the kaiju weapons that was built off, I guess, the corpse of kaiju number 2.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that's kind of where things ended up going. That he was actually disguised, I guess, as one of the people in headquarters, like, and nobody knew about it. But at the same time, like, it was established in season 1 that he could disguise himself as different people. So I guess that was always a possibility that he had already infiltrated, like that, he was already in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, things escalated pretty quickly. Like, once they found out that which person he was, and he revealed himself, and then he just, like, they try to evacuate everybody, but he ends up, like, pretty much destroying the headquarters. Yeah, I mean, I can't really, I also didn't really expect this. I mean, obviously we don't know whether or not he is actually dead, but it really did seem like this episode was like Shinomiya's father is like, it was almost like, he had kind of accomplished, I guess, in a way, like, what he'd set out to do, which was to establish a team of, like, I guess, some of the best anti-kaiju defense force people. And, he basically, like, the way he saw it, his goal was pretty much, he kind of accomplished what he'd set out to do in a way. So he, like you said, he had Kaiju number two's power. So he pretty much uses that, like, I guess, goes over his limit in order to be on equal, like, to basically, like, be equal with Kaiju number 9, and, like, withstand his attacks, but also, like, injure him at the same time. And he ends up just using more and more of Kaiju number two's power in order to actually, like, damage him and, hopefully kill him. But anytime it seems like he's getting close to, he does end up, like, exposing the core. Of course, it's like, that's he's still, Kaiju number 9 still has, like, some trick up his sleeve to where he's not really dead. And at the same time, like, Shinomiya's father is just, like, it seems like he's pretty much he's pretty much spent, but he still, like, tries to do, like, one last attack, and before he can do anything else, of course, he ends up getting consumed and assimilated, I guess, into Kaiju number 9. Along with the one of his subordinates that was, like, watching the whole time, and also, like, while this is happening, Shinomiya and Kafka they're all, like, trying to rush to where her father is, but of course, they don't really, they only get there, like, after all this has happened. So yeah, I mean, but it was, this was actually, like, a really kind of, in a way, I didn't really expect. Like I said, I didn't really expect things to go the way that they did in this episode with Shinomiya's father. But I guess it kind of makes sense what you, like, consider once we hear that this is kind of like what he like I said, in a way, he's accomplished, like, what he'd set out to do.
I mean,
so
it's not exactly the way he hoped things would go. I mean, he was originally planning. From the way things were going, he was planning on retiring and allowing Gen Narumi to take over for things.
Yeah, but in a way, like, he'd already, like, set things up to where, I guess, if something like this did happen, that Narumi would just take over, and if he were to be taken out by a kaiju or something. But it also just is a little bit more tragic because we see more flashback scenes with him and his wife, where she's basically, like, saying, hopefully that their daughter will be as strong as she is one day. And it's kind of interesting how he also mentioned something about how he hoped, he could still be able to, like, stand beside his wife, which is interesting considering, like, Kafka, that's kind of like also like one of his goals is to is to try to get there as well. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of him. I thought it was like interesting how it in a way sort of is somewhat similar to like Kafka's overall goal in the series.
Yeah, and then plus the fact that because of his wife dying, it pretty much just sort of like uh I don't know, changed his outlook of like how he wanted to train his daughter. I mean, originally if his wife was still alive at this point, then he would have been a more of a loving father to her than uh, than what he was right now. I mean, there was a reason for why he acted the way that he did towards Shinomiya over the years after after his wife died, is because his wife originally wanted to take over the role as like, I guess, as the hard, like cold, I don't know, mentor towards Shinomiya, but now he had to take on that role over his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's trying to sort of, well, I guess he pretty much sort of like, well, not completely abandoned, but he's obviously like become a lot more strict and a little bit colder towards her, mainly because he's just trying to push her to be better.
Yeah.
Like his, I guess, like his wife wanted.
Yeah, I mean, and he did manage to heap some amount of praise to Shinomiya, well, before uh, what happened to his fight with Kaiju number 9. So at least there,
Yeah.
at least Shinomiya did feel finally did feel some sense of accomplishment from her father. But now, like she
Yeah, I
lost.
mean, technically, he's not dead yet. I'm guessing that maybe there'll be like another fight with, this kind of new version of number 9 where he's assimilated her father. That maybe like they'll defeat him. Maybe he'll get away, but then like she'll have some kind of like tragic final, last words with her father or something before he passes on. Like that's what I predict might happen. But because like that they didn't really even have a chance to do that before all this went down. Um,
So yeah, so
so
everyone like Kafka, Shinomiya, and Narumi show up. They of course like they're shocked to to find out what happened to to Director General Shinomiya. So number 9, like despite how powerful he is right now, he tries to escape the battle, but of course everybody else just tries to prevent him from escaping and hoping that they might in some way help free Director Shinomiya from being assimilated from number 9, but it's hard to say like how they'll help him out at this state.
yeah, both Kafka and Army try to stop him, and then it ends with Shinomiya coming in, and of course she's incredibly pissed because when she finds out, well, she didn't know at first that her father had been assimilated into number 9, but then after she sees that, she just completely loses it. So yeah, that's kind of where the episode ends. I'm guessing that she's just going to kind of go berserk at some maybe in the next episode just because of what has just happened to her father. So maybe this time Kafka will have to be the one to sort of like try to hold her back or something, so she doesn't completely lose it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a really good episode. Like I said, I didn't really expect that things were going to escalate like this, like this quickly. And I also didn't really expect it. I mean, I don't know. We don't know for sure that her father's going to die, but it really does seem like this is going to be like where he does die. So yeah, I didn't really expect that was going to happen either. I thought that his character might actually like stay around a little bit longer, but I guess that's not going to be the case. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It finally establishes how much of a bigger threat that number 9 really is ever since season 1. I mean, like even before this, we didn't think like how serious of a threat he was, but now like with him literally assimilating like not only just kaiju but also humans with the kaiju weaponry, will he's even much of a danger now than he was in a prior season. So it's hard to
Yeah,
say like whether or not if he might have the ability to absorb anybody else uh, with specific kaiju weapons. I mean, Gen it contains one. I think what was it? Shinobi's mother also had like a kaiju weapon. So it's hard to say where things will go from here. And obviously, like with things as bad as they are right now, they'll likely have to assemble every other member of the defense force. Probably bringing back characters like Mina, Reno, and Soshiro as well.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I guess they'll probably be brought in if the situation gets bad enough, which it seems like it will. It will, especially if they've assimilated the director Shinomiya. So yeah, I mean, obviously he's probably going to be a lot more powerful now if he's like assimilated him into Kaiju number 9. Considering he also has like Kaiju number two's power.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.